second. 60 days, 2 months before the wedding, you were just going to say, forget it all.
Yeah.
Wow.
I looked into canceling our contracts.
Yeah.
But it was already too late. We would have still had to owe quite a bit of money to the venue and caterers. And
did you hire a wedding planner? And if you didn't hire a wedding planner, would you suggest to other wedding couples that are planning to hire a wedding planner? Or like, what was your?
100%. We did not hire a wedding planner.
Okay.
I wish we would have, because I took all those challenges by myself, and it was extremely hectic for me. We did hire a day of coordinator.
Okay.
And I think I did more of the day of coordination than she did. So no shame there. But maybe that's also just where I'm kind of a type A control freak and wanted to have everything in my control. That's okay. We'll have the big wedding and whatnot. But definitely don't waste all your money.
Yeah.
Don't do it. It's for what?
Yeah.
Social media.
Yeah.
For others.
Yeah.
Because in reality, looking back now, it's just him and I is what mattered most.
Yeah.
Not the big gorgeous gown and the big tall.
I know some of the couples some of the weddings that we have done that the couples are not together anymore. And it's only been like a year. And they're not together.
So sad. That is so sad.
And you think of all the money you spend on a wedding, and then you're not together 12 months, 15 months later. You're not together, so.
And that's because they were planning a wedding, not a marriage.
Absolutely. Welcome to the Wedding Dreams Unveiled podcast, your go-to source for insightful conversations with ordinary newlyweds and vendors navigating the difficult world of wedding planning. I'm your host, Livingston Lee, and with a decade of experience and hundreds of weddings captured, I'm here to tell you some of my stories and some of the other people's stories about the wedding business. Now let's get started with today's guests. Kara and Bremahr.
Hello.
Welcome to Wedding Dreams Unveiled.
Thank you so much.
Glad to
Thank
be
you
here.
for coming in. The weather is looking crazy, and you guys just came on in to see me. I really appreciate that.
Well, listen, Lee, it's the least that we could do, considering, just one of the minor things on wedding day. We didn't get as many pictures as we'd wanted, as you remember, and you were so gracious to come back and take some more photos for us a couple of weeks after our wedding. So this is the least we could do for you.
Yes. And I want to talk about that too, because maybe that's a good lesson for couples. Like, you got to make sure that everything on the wedding day is done on time, so that way you have the time that's needed. And sometimes you don't always calculate what you think is going to be the right thing to do until the day gets there. So I definitely want to talk about that. But how long you guys been married now?
Year and a half.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you.
And you got a son now?
And
a
we
son.
have a almost 8-month-old baby boy.
Yeah, things are changing.
That's crazy.
Awesome. That's awesome. The things that happen after you get married is a blessing.
It is.
Such a blessing.
Definitely a blessing. So
such a blessing.
I appreciate you guys coming in. When you got married, like when you started to plan your wedding, what was the theme of your wedding?
So I, as a little girl growing up, society always makes you think you want this big, beautiful dream of a wedding.
Right.
So the day after we got engaged, I was on Pinterest, just looking up weddings and this and that, and glam. Glam was my theme. Looking back, would it have been a little different? Probably. But glam really just caught my attention, that wow factor. Just the chandeliered ballroom and all that stuff drew my attention to that style. So that kind of was my first stepping stone into, okay, well, I got this style. Now I can start kind of looking at other pieces that make sense.
For
what I envisioned.
Okay. Was it anything like, I know some people have like, all right, well, my theme is going to be like a peacock, or my theme is going to be stars and the sun, or, you know, people got all kinds of different things. So yours was just like glam. And I know you did a lot of it yourself, which was great. You know, that was awesome as well. So
glam as in, I loved the classic black and white.
Yes.
That timeless, beautiful, classical wedding.
Yeah.
That was just a dream of mine, and that's what I wanted. And so I guess glam could go in many different directions, but that's just what drew to me the most.
Right. No, that's awesome. That's awesome. What were some of the challenges, like, since you were engaged, what were some of the challenges that you ran into?
Well, we're committing ourselves to a life together.
Yes.
That's huge.
Yes.
We're leaving an old life to make one together.
Yes.
And with that came a lot of heaviness, I think, for both of us. So to be honest with you, Lee, we started premarital counseling.
Right. It's not a bad thing.
No, because
good.
We wanted to make sure that we were both on the same page with everything in life, financially, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, physically, everything. We wanted to make sure that, and that's actually, it was about 2 or 3 months before our wedding.
About
our life coach. He's like, man, what are you guys doing? He's like, because I was so stressed.
Right.
As we'll get into, but he said, what are you doing? You're this whole big wedding. And he's the one that said, you should be planning for a marriage, not planning a wedding.
Wonderful.
So it was like, 2 months before our wedding. I'm like, I want to cancel it. I want to cancel everything.
2 months before.
Yes.
You wanted to cancel it?
It's a true story.
Not our wedding.
It's a true story.
Not our marriage, but I wanted to just elope. I was like, what have I done to myself? I wanted to simplify it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So there were many challenges, and I think we grew a lot as individuals and as a couple, because we realized what was more important in life.
Right. Yeah. So let's talk about that for a second. 60 days, 2 months before the wedding, you were just going to say, forget it all.
Yeah.
Wow.
I looked into canceling our contracts.
Yeah.
But it was already too late. We would have still had to owe quite a bit of money to the venue and caterers and everything. But I was at peace with not having it. It was wild. It was like a revelation almost for me that I just missed when I started planning what was most important, and that was him and I.
Yes.
And our future together.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I like that, what you said, that saying that you just said, plan for, can you say that one more time?
Sure. You want to plan for a marriage, not a wedding.
Plan for a marriage, not for a wedding.
Yes.
That statement is very, very deep. That's a very, very deep statement, you know, and I've been married almost 20 years. So, you know, I know how marriage can be. Marriage is a beautiful thing, you know. If you got God in it, and you're doing the right things, you know, marriage can be a beautiful thing, you know. So to want to cancel everything 60 days before the wedding and just say, we just need to just do us that is something.
We both felt that way.
When he told us that, we were just like, wow.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
Yeah.
It hit us very deep too.
It's so true.
In the moment, we were just like, mind blown.
So this is the marriage counselor.
Yeah, he's a
life.
He's a friend, a family friend.
Family friend.
Yeah.
Okay, and this is kind of what he does.
Yeah, he does this. Yep.
Okay. All right. Cool.
And it made us take a step back and think, because my gosh, Lee, I had a 3-inch notebook. I still have in my basement for planning this damn thing.
Oh, I know how you are.
Holy moly, it was chaos, organized chaos.
Yes.
But it really just made me stop and think, and what is most important in life, and we weren't focusing on the right things.
Wow. That is that statement there is that's probably what we lead the title of this podcast off with. I think that is awesome.
Yeah, that's my best advice.
Yeah. Plan for a marriage, not for a wedding.
That's why I tell everybody that I know that's getting married. I'm like, society has it all wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's good
And
stuff.
and another thing, he kind of touched on was society kind of builds you up to fail you.
Mm-hmm.
So you're putting all these details into little things to look good or to make other people happy, when in reality you could be putting all this time and effort into each other.
Yes.
So that way when you do cross that bridge into marriage, the day you get married, you're ready, you're prepared.
Right.
You're not just trying to start figuring it out then.
Yeah.
So
That's good advice.
It was
Because the wedding comes and then boom, it's gone.
gone.
And then you got, the rest of your life.
Yes.
So
Yes.
Yeah, it's one day.
it's one day.
Yeah, it's
wedding
wild.
The wedding is one day.
It's one day.
The wedding is one day.
Yeah.
That is so true. That is so true.
Yeah.
Did you hire a wedding planner? And if you didn't hire a wedding planner, would you suggest to other wedding couples that are planning to hire a wedding planner? Or like, what was your?
100%. We did not hire a wedding planner.
Okay.
I wish we would have, because I took all those challenges by myself, and it was extremely hectic for me. We did hire a day of coordinator.
Okay.
And I think I did more of the day of coordination than she did. So no shame there. But maybe that's also just where I'm kind of a type A control freak and wanted to have everything in my control. And I also thought that they were expensive at the time. But looking back, I probably would have saved myself more money had I hired somebody that knew what they were doing.
Right.
That could have saved me money, as far as details and decor and rentals and all that good stuff. So 100% would recommend a wedding planner.
Okay.
And then that way, maybe if you do want the big glam wedding that you've always dreamed of, you can actually sit back and enjoy it a little more, the planning process.
Yeah.
Because I didn't enjoy it.
Wow.
I did.
So so I am so glad that you said that and mentioned that, because we had a planner on and we got other planners coming on that's scheduled as well. And one of the things that the planner said was, like, the day of coordinator sometimes are not. She said she don't like to call them a day of coordinator. She like to call them a month of coordinator, because you really shouldn't have a day of coordinator, because they really,
Sure.
So, and that was her words. And she is a very experienced wedding planner. She was actually the first guest on a podcast. She did a great job, set the bar high for, things for wedding couples and all of that. But, not planning your wedding, you probably didn't really get a chance to enjoy some of the things that you wanted to enjoy. You want to talk about that a little bit? Like,
sure.
What didn't you enjoy, or what would you had it done different in the wedding planning portion of it?
I guess maybe all of the, administrative work, the emailing, the phone calling, the scheduling, the behind the scenes. If somebody would have said, hey, pick from these 5 flowers, it would have been great. Pick from this vendor, these couple flowers that fit in within your budget. I had to kind of do all of that on my own.
Right.
So I was Googling and searching on, the knot.com and all these different wedding sites for reviews, and just I was kind of going down rabbit holes of each category, each vendor, each everything. I was just, I think that's where I got a little overwhelmed, because there was just too many decisions to make.
Right.
Whereas somebody could have simplified it for me.
Right. As the bride, that is a lot of decisions to make when you don't have a wedding planner.
Yeah. And I did have, so my day of coordinator was kind of a month of.
Okay.
So I would agree to that statement 100%.
Yep.
However, I was still like handling, so maybe I didn't hire the right person. Forgive me. But
and we won't name names.
No,
we
will not.
Yeah.
But I was still the one in contact with all my vendors, dotting my I's, crossing my T's prior to the big day to make sure everything was gonna flow smoothly.
Right.
But those were my challenges, just making sure I had everything. You know,
Right.
there's so many details. It's easy to forget something.
Yes.
So I just, that was.
Did you feel responsible for, if you would have forgot something, do you think you would have felt responsible for being for forgetting? Like,
Oh, absolutely.
oh, shoot, I forgot to do this.
Absolutely.
When you could have relied on that
somebody
coordinator.
else. Absolutely.
Right.
And I think, when I went to a few wedding expos with my mom when we were engaged and came across a couple wedding planners. One, I didn't really find any that fit my vibe.
That's important. We talked about that. I had a photographer on and we talked about meeting your vendors and making sure that, y'all click. So that's important.
And that was huge for me.
Yes.
That's why we loved you.
Yeah.
Sounds like, Lee's the best. No question about it. He's good people.
Yeah.
Same with our celebrant.
Yeah.
Good people, great people. And
Right.
the other vendors were kind of referred by the Hilton.
Right.
But you and our celebrant, oh my gosh, you guys are like the best.
Yeah.
The best of the best.
Definitely.
Thank you.
It was definitely meant to be.
Okay.
So yeah, that was there for sure.
Right. No, that's awesome. I appreciate
Yeah.
that.
Do you agree?
100%. 100%.
Yeah, it's meeting your vendors is really, really important. Especially when it comes down to the wedding day, having that being familiar with them is very, very important.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
You were phenomenal at our engagement session in Philadelphia, if I may mention.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah,
We
not
traveled.
close.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, you just went above and beyond.
Well,
and
thank you.
Not even just your photography skills, but you.
Yeah.
You care, you're genuine. And
Well,
same with
thank
our
you.
celebrant. We met her at, where did we meet her?
Starbucks, right?
Starbucks.
Right.
Yeah, we met her at Starbucks.
Yeah.
And, if it didn't feel right, we wouldn't have hired her.
Right.
But she was just so in tune with what we felt, what we wanted for our ceremony, that it felt right and it was important to us
Right.
to just have those good people looking out for us on such a special day.
No, that's
Yeah.
awesome. How did you go about your, in the process of talking about what you just said, how did you go about selecting your vendors? What was, besides, I think what you said was that you had to click with them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Was there any other things that you said, you know what, I want the caterer to have this, or I want the florist to have this, or was it anything like that?
Nope.
Okay.
I actually just used the referrals from the Hilton.
Okay.
So the Hilton referred the florist.
Yep.
I looked up, she did great work. So
Okay.
I'm like, easy enough. They
Yep.
already had the catered food there in the hotel.
Yep.
They referred me to a wedding decor company that they worked with in the past.
Okay.
Great, use them. So they really helped me. Besides you and the celebrant, I didn't really need to find any other vendors.
Anybody else?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't think so.
Right.
So you'd think it would be easier. It was still stressful. but no, it honestly, when I started looking up where to start and who to use and whatnot, I went down rabbit holes, vendors, and really just, I don't even know if the reviews had much to do. I think more so like your brand.
Okay.
So I remember our celebrant, her biography, she just, it just spoke to me.
Okay.
How down to earth she was, and she had to be a right fit for us, or we had to be a right fit for her.
Yes.
Just as we needed to be a right fit for you.
Correct.
You guys don't have to take on everybody that comes to you.
Yeah.
So I was fortunate that, our venue referred us to all those different vendors. So it kind of eliminated me having to do double work.
Right.
Because I was so, I don't want to say picky, but I did my research when it came to you and the person marrying us to make sure it was the best fit.
And
so
that's a great thing. Anything you would add to that, Bremahr? Like when she brought to you vendors, did you look them over and say, no? Or were you just like, babe, if it makes you happy, what was?
I said, whatever you want. Literally, like whatever she wanted. I trusted her.
Yeah.
And she's the planner, so
Yeah.
I kind of sat back and, let her do her thing.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah. I know you're pretty laid back.
Yeah, I'm super laid
He's
back.
so laid back. Yeah, honestly, I think when we first started talking about weddings, you were like, I'd be happy just going to the judge's office.
Yeah.
Seriously. And I was like, what? No, you're crazy. I'm not doing that.
Yeah, right.
Seriously, I think I was.
Yeah.
I was like, no, there's no way.
You was like, no, we're having a big celebration.
Yeah.
And big celebrations and weddings are fun and it's great.
They are.
They are. It's nothing that I would take away from anybody that wants to have a great big celebration.
Absolutely not. Just the planning process, maybe.
It can be a lot. It can be a lot. So like you said earlier, hire a wedding planner.
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah.
So they can take some of the thought out of, having to make all of those decisions. Because when it come down time to make all of those decisions and it's all on you, and then you look at Bremahr and Bremahr is saying, whatever makes you happy.
Yeah.
I'm good, So how was it having a wedding at the hotel? Was that something that you glad you did, or?
For sure. Did I take other people's thoughts into consideration? Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Because of location and, it being a hotel, so people could stay over. They didn't have to drink and drive, and they didn't have to transport from the ceremony to the reception.
Right.
So I was taking other people into consideration. I thought it would be good for us as well, being close for photos.
Yep.
Had a little minor detour with that.
Yeah.
But I was thinking more of other people than myself. Looking back, I think, for my faith, I would have rather been married in a church.
Yep.
That would have meant more to me. But again, I wasn't really putting myself first, like I never do.
Yeah.
We're working on that in 2024. But no, I mean, the venue was beautiful. It is exactly what I wanted in that moment in time.
Right.
I wanted somewhere where everybody was just right there. They didn't have to travel. Everything was on one spot, one location.
Yep.
And then they could stay if need be.
Yeah.
After drinking all night. So I mean, it worked out, and it had the style that I was looking for.
Okay.
So that ballroom, glam, it all kind of just fit.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, it was actually the first venue we looked at.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was the very
you
first
didn't
venue.
Even go shopping. You just like, oh, nope, this is it.
Yeah.
Well, we still did. Because we're indecisive. We're indecisive.
Okay.
So even though we looked at it, we still did shop around a little bit, but we came back to it.
Okay.
Because it was,
No, that's awesome. Let's talk about when we went out for wedding portraits. You guys thought we were on a bus. And y'all were just on the way to where we would take the pictures at.
Oh my gosh. We get to the Capitol downtown, Harrisburg. And so I didn't even notice.
We were driving when someone noticed.
Yeah, somebody noticed. But downtown is all one ways.
Yes.
And shit.
Right.
Somebody was like, "Where's the photographer?" Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, we were like, yo.
We gotta go back.
Yes.
So that took up time.
Yeah.
But not only that, I'm pretty sure there was construction that day downtown.
It was.
Yeah,
Yep.
so we had to go down a couple more streets before we could come back.
Yeah.
It was a mess. It took up a lot more time, and we didn't have time to spare because, the hotel and the caterers, the food was still on schedule to be passed out certain times. So we needed to get back to do our entrances and first dances before food could be served. It was a lot.
Yeah, it was one of the photographers that was talking about the food drops, and that you can't stop the food drops. The food drops are not going to run late. They're going to run on the time that they're supposed to run. The food drops are.
Yeah.
So it's nothing you can do about that. So by the time you guys came back to get us, and then we got over to the Capitol with family, the bridal party, and you guys, we only had maybe 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Seriously.
If that. And then we had to drive back. It was pretty stressful.
Looking back, that's one thing I would have changed. I would have made sure that there was more time for the photos, especially for our bridal party, because even though we got to come back and get beautiful photos, which is most important.
Yes.
I would have loved to have, nicer laid out photos of the bridesmaids and the groomsmen. And even just with family at the venue, I don't think we got as many as we would have liked with everybody. Just because we were rushed. So I would have probably, I mean, not having a first look was a big deal for me because I didn't want him to see him, you know, keep that traditional vibe. But if it meant that we would have had more photos to look back on, I probably would have changed that, to be honest with you. Doing pictures before the ceremony.
So just what we're talking about, just for all the bridal couples that's planning out there, make sure you plan enough time. If you look back at any of the past guests, we had Kenny Clapp on, we had Tiffany McCoy on. Shout out to those two talking about the time that you want to have for your pictures, because a lot of times it's not enough time planned. And one of the wedding planners also said about, if you would have had a wedding coordinator, that wouldn't have happened. You understand what I'm saying? Because the wedding coordinator is concerned about all of the stuff that you're doing, whereas though the day of or the vendor coordinator is concerned about you know, catering, what time food is going to be dropped, and those kind of things.
The event.
So important lesson to make sure that you have enough time to take your pictures, you know. But as being a nice, godly man that I am, we went out again.
Yes, we did. And I think it was like 95 degrees that day. Lee, you're a blessing.
We went out again. We went out again, and we did more photos because I wanted it to be right, and I wanted to make sure that my couples was happy because of all of the things that took place on the wedding day. And we got it done.
And now they're all hanging up all over our house. Beautiful canvases of your work. So. And
we had Dwayne Hazelwood. He's another guest. He was the videographer. He did a great job. He came back out. You know, it was great. He
the
came
whole
back
way
out
from Baltimore.
Yep. He came back out, and it was great. We made it work. Now, every photographer or videographer won't do that, but you know, that's some of the things that we do. We was at a destination wedding one time, and we did the same thing because at nighttime, we had this beautiful wedding, and it was a sunset wedding. And by the time the sunset, the beach is dark. In Jamaica, there's no street lights in Jamaica. There's no street lights on the beach. So the next day, we took the couple back out again because of the time. But again, you have to watch that kind of stuff, because if you don't, then you risk the chance of missing out on, you know, maybe 80 to 100 or 120 photos, whereas though now you only got, you know, maybe 10 or something like that. You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So it's definitely a must to.
And those are things that, you know, couples don't consider because we're not the professionals. We're not in the business of planning a wedding and, you know, understanding food drops and lighting and all those different types of things, whereas a wedding planner would. You know, so we can appreciate, looking back, I can appreciate them so much more. And at the time I was like, no, they're too expensive. Now I'm like, damn, they need to be paid more money because that's a lot of work. But honestly, I mean, if anything, I think photos, allowing enough time for photos in between the ceremony and reception, or before the ceremony, whenever, you know, the couple wants is best for them, is so important, because that's all you have to look back on. Is photos.
And you know, you guys had a videographer as well. So who is part of my team, who was part of my team, and you know, you have that to look back on as well. We had I had a couple on right before you guys, and what we talked about was they said that they wish they would have hired a videographer because they said photos don't move. And they said that's one of the things that they didn't do that they wish they would have had done.
That was kind of like a non-negotiable for me. We were like, if we're getting one, we're getting both.
We're getting both, right?
There's no doubt in our minds, right?
Right. Because
you just can't remember all the little details.
Yeah, you don't see the room when it's empty. You don't see it when you come in. All of the guests are there, so you don't get a chance to see all of that glam.
No, you don't.
That you talked about.
I didn't even really get to take in and appreciate the venue and our reception because I was just so focused on everything else. I didn't even, honestly, I don't think I once took the time to sit there and look around the room. Yeah. At all the beautiful centerpieces and the lighting and everything that went into planning. So that's pretty, So to have those memories is a blessing. Another thing too is, we lost, 3 grandparents?
Yes.
Within the last year. Okay. Who were all at our wedding. Yep. Which is a blessing. Oh, yes. So to have them, in our memories and the photos and the videos is just a huge blessing.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
So.
Definitely.
Wouldn't trade it for
definitely
the world.
Important. That's important stuff for
definitely.
Sure. How did you go about deciding on a dress? Let's talk about the dress. Bremahr, it seems like you got some stuff in there to say about the dress.
I'll let her tell it.
Huh?
I'll tell.
Oh, I think I need a drink for this one.
Yeah. we got bottles of water.
Oh man, I need something stronger. The dress.
Yes, tell us a good story about the dress.
A good story. I got a couple stories.
Okay.
Where do you want me to start? We'll start at the end. I ended up having to go to Dallas, Texas for this dress. Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Got one locally, did the whole thing, went shopping with my family, my immediate family, and found one that I loved and got it, and then went shopping again, and I was like, well, I don't like this one so much. Because I kept looking. I shouldn't have kept looking. I mean, no, in the end, I'm glad I did. Because I wouldn't have been happy.
Okay.
I don't know why I settled that first time shopping. Maybe I felt like I had to say yes to the dress. I don't know.
Okay.
So long story shortly, this Pinterest, it's really got a hold on me. Yeah. So I was on Pinterest and I'm just looking up wedding dresses and I'm like, well, I like that. I like that. I like that. I don't like mine. So, of course, the Kara that I am and the glam that I was going for, these gowns are way out of my budget. Just insane amount of money. I can't pay that for a wedding dress. But I can find one on Still White, which is used gowns.
Okay. What's that website again?
It's called Still White.
Okay, we'll have to list that in the show notes.
Still White. Okay. And my dress is up for sale on it now.
Okay. Buy the dress.
Buy the dress. Buy the dress. It's been on there for a while. So I found this dress that I fell in love with. It's by this designer, S.A. Zenabor.
Okay.
Beautiful, beautiful designer. She's based out of Dallas, Texas.
Okay.
It was used, so they're custom made. So a new one goes anywhere from $10,000 to $20,000 plus.
Okay.
I mean, I think Neo's wife got her gown there.
No.
Anyway, so this was used, so it was much, much, much cheaper.
Yes.
But the problem was, it was a size 36, and I'm like a size 10.
Okay.
So the gown, I could have fit 2 of me in. Okay.
It's a lot of alterations.
So it's a lot of alterations. So nobody around here could do it. That's why we went to Texas.
So nobody in York could. Nobody here like York, I guess, and maybe, I don't know if you checked Philly or.
No, I think because it was custom.
Okay.
So nobody was comfortable.
Wow.
So
I got you.
I called the designer in Texas and they were willing to take me in.
Oh, cool.
Which she said she's never done before. So anyway,
wow. Shout out to the designer. What's the designer name?
Shout out to the designer. It's S.A. E.S.E.
Okay.
Last name is Zenabor.
Okay. All right.
Beautiful black woman.
Notes.
Beautiful.
Definitely shout out to her. That's awesome.
Yes. And was willing to take us in. We flew there with the gown. She had to take it completely apart. I'm pretty sure she actually cut it on me.
Okay.
And then stitched it back up on me.
Really?
But we had to fly home. It had to stay there for a few months for them to work on it. So then fast forward a couple months and my dad flew back to Dallas with me to pick it up. Yeah. So I had my final fitting and they were still making alterations on me at the time.
Okay.
But we flew home with my dream gown.
Wow.
Wow.
Come on, Brave. You got something to say, man. Say it.
Wow. Just wow. That was crazy.
It was crazy. Yeah. It was my dream.
Yeah.
It was my dream gown.
Yeah.
It still is my dream gown.
Yeah.
So all that was worth it.
Yeah.
But
did you fly down?
I did not.
Okay.
I don't know why, but I didn't.
Yeah.
But as long as she was happy, it was good.
Yeah.
That was the biggest thing, making sure she was sure, not having second thoughts or doubts or anything like that.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that was important for me. So
yeah.
Definitely.
He's like whatever makes you happy.
Yeah.
He's
Oh,
so
yeah.
laid back.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
He's like whatever you want, babe. Which is a great thing, but also I'm like, can you help me out a little?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you help me make a little decision?
What did you think when you first saw her in the dress?
Wow.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm lucky.
Yeah.
It was, blessing to be able to get married to her.
Yeah.
And, see her come down the aisle.
Yeah.
It was like, damn.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. I was like, wow.
Yeah. It was definitely awesome. Definitely awesome. Yeah. That was beautiful. Definitely
and you looked so beautiful too.
Yeah.
Handsome.
Thank you.
Yeah,
and Dad
so
was
handsome.
he was in such tears.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, we
He
still
was
laugh
in-
to this day at the one photo of him crying.
Oh, yeah.
He was like, "Where's my baby going?"
Yeah, he was really crying.
Yeah, my dad was emotional, handing his daughter off. It
was beautiful.
It was beautiful.
Yeah.
What
What was like some of the most memorable moments that you remember of your wedding? If you could give me 3, what would be 3 memorable moments of your wedding day? I get 2 from you, 1 from you.
Okay. I don't want to take yours in case you say it. I remember when I remember my dad and I, before they're about to open the doors, he's like, "You ready?" I'm like, "I'm ready." And I think we took a deep breath and just tried to walk as slow as possible and take it all in.
Yep.
And it really was one of the most memorable parts of my day. As well as our life coach whispered to me walking down, he said, "Just be present."
Nice.
And it really helped me to get up at the altar and be present with Bremahr.
Yes.
That was the best part of my entire day.
Okay.
I was so nervous.
Oh, yes.
I was so nervous. And we had such a large, guest count. We had like 200 people there.
Yes.
But when I got up on stage with him and, we held each other's hands and looked at each other in the eyes, it's like nothing else in the room mattered.
Right.
Even our celebrant, when she was talking, if I just looked at Bremahr, everything else kind of faded away.
Yeah.
I felt such a sense of peace.
Right.
So those were probably my 2 most memorable moments from our big day. I hope I didn't take yours.
No.
Okay, good.
I would just say, having all my family there at one place at the same time.
Yeah.
It's never been like that.
Yeah.
On both my mom's side and dad's side.
Yeah.
So it was
Yeah,
special.
it was huge.
It was special to me.
Yeah.
Just seeing everyone there.
Yep.
When we could share our day.
Yep.
Show everyone.
It was a lot of people.
A lot of people.
Yeah. How much? What was the guest count?
200.
200.
What was the final though?
Maybe like 210.
It was like 210. Yeah, it was like 210.
And he has a lot of family from Arizona.
Yeah.
So
And like California and stuff like that. It's everywhere.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Everybody came up to be with you, man.
It came up.
Everybody
Yeah.
did.
So that's definitely the most memorable for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the memorable moments is one of the things that you say, "I'm glad I had a big wedding."
Yeah.
Because when you just take it upon yourself and you go to the courthouse is great. Nothing against a courthouse wedding. I've seen some people have a courthouse wedding and then have a big reception or something like that, but having the big wedding is fun.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. I commend everybody that has these big weddings and that, hire me or hire anybody else or hire, us in the wedding business. The wedding business is a big business, and to be in it, to be part of it is great. And that's the reason for this podcast. I want wedding couples to see what they should do and what they shouldn't do. And, bringing vendors on as well, like photographers and videographers and wedding planners and florists and all of those things. I want couples to hear it from every side of how we do this, how we do that, what I wouldn't do and what I wouldn't do. So that's definitely important to me.
I know. I wish I had this podcast when I was planning, because you don't know what you don't know.
Right. Yeah.
So unfortunately, you just gotta experience it if you don't have anybody else to kind of give their testimony as to what their experience was like.
Yeah.
I would say like my whole mindset changed though too. Like I was all like small courthouse wedding, and then after it's all said and done, like you said, the big wedding, like that's important. It is. Looking back on it, it's like, I'm glad we did this.
Good memories.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Me too. And not to cut you off, but one thing I was gonna say was I'd change everything coming into today.
Yeah.
But now I'm starting to get emotional. But now I'm glad that we didn't.
Yeah.
Because our family wouldn't have been there.
Yeah.
And the main reason we had a big wedding at home in Harrisburg was so that our grandparents could be there, because they wouldn't fly.
Yeah.
So that was a big deciding factor in where our venue was going to be, because we considered destination. And actually, up until this moment, I look back and think, man, we still should have had a destination wedding.
Yeah.
But then those important people
Wouldn't have been there. That's right.
Yeah.
So no, I wouldn't change anything.
The couple right before you said that they were planning a destination wedding. They went against it. Guess why?
Why?
Family couldn't be there, and they wanted their family around. And they said they glad they didn't do a destination wedding.
We were getting ready to cancel, like she said. We were going to do a destination wedding.
Yep.
And she was like, my grandparents can't be there.
Yep.
Other people like that couldn't be there. So
Yep.
Yeah, they couldn't.
that was the main reason.
Yeah. Nothing against destination weddings.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Not
If they
at
can be there,
Destination weddings
please.
are great. If you want to hire, any of the vendors that we have on this podcast, go to your destination wedding, look them up. You want to hire us, we love our destination weddings. It's just, it's not for everybody. That's all we're saying.
Yeah.
And we got to see some beautiful ceremonies on our honeymoon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So right over our balcony in Punta Cana, we're like, man, that looks so nice and simple and relaxed and easy. And it looked absolutely beautiful.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
yes.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome. Were there any unexpected surprises through all of your planning? Any unexpected surprises, like anything that you can think of that was unexpected that you said, whoa, we may not be able to get married, or, we got to change this and we got to change it immediately, or this won't happen?
I don't recall any.
Me neither.
Yeah, to be honest.
No, me neither.
Any
For thank God.
Yeah, thank God.
No, I can't think of anything big other than maybe how we felt
Okay.
and being at peace
Yeah.
with going forward with what we had planned.
Yeah.
That was huge on me internally. I prayed and prayed about that. Is this the right thing to do?
Right.
So that was a big internal struggle as far as to go forward with this big extravagant wedding we planned, or just simplify it.
Yeah.
And that was a tough decision we had to make, because we really did sit and think long and hard about it. But as far as like outside sources, no, not that I can remember.
Okay.
Thank God.
No, that's
a blessing.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah, that's a blessing.
That's awesome. I mean, you did pretty well at planning everything.
I'd say. Did we build our house first? So we built a house first.
Yeah.
Like a year and a half prior to the wedding. So I was just kind of like in go mode.
Yep.
In planning.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
I was just telling you, we haven't had like a minute to.
We haven't.
Yeah, we got engaged, built a house, got married,
Yeah.
had a kid,
Had a baby. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like
It's
like
been
boom,
bam,
boom,
bam,
boom, boom,
bam.
boom.
Yeah.
All blessings, by the way.
it is. They are.
Yeah.
Blessing.
They
All
are.
blessings, by the way.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Any disagreements that y'all had while you were planning everything? Like, I know you probably wanted the courthouse. She didn't want the courthouse. You wanted certain colors maybe that you didn't want, or vice versa, or you wanted this or you wanted that. What was that like? Disagreements.
Definitely. Do you want to touch on like the courthouse and the big wedding? That was big for you.
Go ahead.
You want me to?
Yeah.
In the beginning, he definitely wanted something small, minor, simple. And I did not at all. We kind of disagreed on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For
He
sure.
was against the big wedding.
He said, yeah.
He
for
was
sure.
against the big wedding.
Okay.
I kind of had to talk him into it. And it's just so funny because then roles reverse at the end. But he's so kind and gentle. Like he goes with the flow.
Yeah.
Like he said, whatever makes me happy. But
Yep.
I'm like, but what makes you happy too?
Right.
But then it's just so that was definitely something. He didn't really have too much say in the colors.
Okay.
Or the tuxes,
Right.
none of that. He just went and tried on which one I liked.
Yeah.
I like the one. I like the one you showed me. So.
Yeah, you like
I
the
was
white,
like, yeah,
the
that's-
white with the black lapel.
Yeah, like that's nice.
So y'all looked great.
Yeah, I was like, that's
y'all
nice.
looked great.
Thank you. I had a vision. Any other disagreements? I mean, there's always family issues when planning a wedding.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
It's not fun. That definitely had something to do with some disagreements that him and I had because it may have been on his side, but I was dealing with it.
Yep.
And it might have been on my side and he was dealing with it when we should have been maybe dealing with our own families more, just protecting our other half from that drama.
Yeah.
Because everybody's got to say.
Yes.
That was definitely
That was
hard.
probably the biggest.
I think that was the biggest disagreement we had. People not wanting certain people invited, and then other people saying, "Well, I'm not coming if they're gonna be there," and then, "Well, I'm not gonna be there if they're not there." It was.
Yeah,
this is so good.
Yeah, that was bad.
This
that
is
was
so
like,
good.
yeah,
This is so good.
Yeah.
So we a couple that we had on was talking about the +1, that if I invite you to the wedding, you can't just bring a +1. It's not, you can't just do that.
yeah.
So, and then y'all are saying with the family, you have family disagreements because if this person is not coming, then, if this person come, then I'm not coming.
Yeah, and then there was a third source saying, "Well, if that person doesn't go, then I'm not going either."
Really?
It was bad.
It was bad. Bremahr's like, "I don't like this conflict." I'm like,
Yeah.
"I don't like it either." But so it was causing us to kind of
Bicker.
Yeah.
Go back and forth.
Yeah. And like, how do we handle this? It was extremely difficult. Just maybe 8 weeks before our wedding.
Yeah.
It wasn't very long before our wedding that this occurred. And it was so difficult. We remained strong throughout it.
Definitely.
But it definitely caused more headaches,
Yeah.
more stress for us.
Right.
And ultimately it's up to us. It's up to the bride and groom.
Correct.
It's not really up to other people.
Yeah.
But we were again trying to appease everyone else and make everybody happy. But it's typical, and we experienced it full force.
Yeah.
We experienced it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome that you got through
And
that.
it all worked out. Everybody is fine now.
Fine,
Yeah.
To
dandy.
this day, everybody gets along.
Right.
So I don't know what it was about the wedding planning process that brought stress out in other people. I remember even my mom, she was helping me with the table numbers one day. And she's like, "Are we the last table?" I'm like, "I don't know." She's like, because they start on one side of the room and work their way around. She's like, "Does that mean we're going to get served our food last?" I'm like, "Oh my goodness." I'm like, "No, you'll get your food first."
Right.
But it was just, everybody seemed to, something was in the air.
Yeah. Something was in the
Yeah,
air.
something
it
was
was-
in the air. It was crazy.
It was really weird.
Yeah.
We experienced all of it.
That's
All of
that's
it.
great. This is good. This is really, really good. Like, great advice.
Good.
And this, to my knowledge, I don't know if this is out there where you can find someone that talk to wedding couples about what happened. So when I get people on, or the people that I want on, is people that's married, not planning. You need to have gone through the whole process of the wedding planning in order for me to want to interview you, because I don't want somebody that's in the planning process. I need somebody who's been through the trenches and said, "This is what we would do completely different. This is not what we would do." That's what I want. And I don't want couples that's married more than, 2.5 years. I don't want to really go back that far because I want it to be fresh in your mind. And this advice that you guys are giving right now is great. It's really, really great. Is it anything that any advice, if you had, few things to say to wedding couples out there that's planning their wedding, what would be some advice you would give to couples that's planning right now, besides the one that you said earlier, where you said plan for a marriage and not for a wedding? What would be any other advice you would give a couple?
I think my number one advice would be just to simplify it.
Okay.
Simplify it. Maybe jot down on a piece of paper together what is most important to you as a couple.
Yeah.
What is most important? All that extra fluff, try and cut it out if possible.
Okay.
It's just not necessary. You can still have your beautiful dream wedding, but just simplify the details. Don't stress over everything because it's all going to work out the way it's meant to.
Yep.
And I wish I would have done that. It's easier said than done to take advice. Not everybody can take until they've experienced it.
Right.
But if possible, just focus on the two of you most.
Okay.
Because that's really what's most important.
Yes.
What's your advice, baby?
Yeah.
What did you say?
What's your advice?
That is important. That's very important.
Yeah, just figure out what's most important.
Yeah.
What doesn't matter. Focus on you. And that's it. Yeah.
I feel like I have something else, but I forget. I had something else.
Well, if you think of it, you let me know before we, I got like one or two more. One or two more things I want to talk about. Looking back, is it anything that you would have changed with the wedding process? Even though 60 days before the wedding, you were like, I'm canceling everything. Is there anything you would have changed during the wedding process? In anything, no matter what it is there anything you would have changed?
Yes, I would have probably given myself more time.
Okay.
Between getting engaged and the actual wedding day.
Okay.
Because 1.5 years went by so fast.
Yeah.
You don't think it goes by fast, but it went by extremely fast. So maybe a little bit longer planning process, maybe 2 years. To
2
plan.
years to plan?
Yeah, because it genuinely flew by.
Right.
So I would say that I'd 100% recommend a wedding planner without a doubt.
Okay.
If I could go back, that's probably the first thing I would do. So that way they could take it off my hands.
Right.
And I could actually just pick what I liked and sit back and kind of enjoy
it.
My engagement.
Yeah.
Because you're only engaged once.
Yes.
And that was another big thing that we kind of hit with that realization. It's not, we are going to be one forever after this.
Correct.
Right now we're engaged, but we're still individuals.
Yeah.
Come that wedding day, you are one. So I think maybe to enjoy that time as an engaged couple before you are one.
Yep.
Because it really changed. It's a big change.
Yeah.
So those are my biggest two pieces of advice.
Okay.
And definitely put yourself first.
Okay.
Put yourself first. Your fiance's needs first, and what you guys want. What will make you happiest.
Yeah.
On your special day, because it really is about you guys. It's not about everybody else and everybody else's feelings and what they think it should look like for you. It's your day.
Yes, it is.
So I think that's really sums up like the best advice I could give.
Okay. Any from you, Bremahr?
My advice would just be on the day of the wedding is try to stay present.
Okay.
Just like focus on what's happening because it goes so fast.
Right.
Like looking back on it, it's already been 1.5 years. It's like, wow. I remember like helping her try to plan and just like, it's way gone. So yeah, just
blink of an eye.
Just stay present.
Stay present.
Yeah.
Yep.
Stay present.
Yep.
And that's good advice. That's good. That's great advice.
Yeah, stay present and take in the scene.
Right.
Look around the room.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We did go to every table.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we actually had we didn't know if we were going to do that or not. Mm-hmm. About just, getting up on the mic and thanking everybody.
Yeah.
We didn't feel it was personal, but as big of a crowd as we had,
yes,
took a good bit of time.
Oh, yeah.
So you got to factor all that in. It was the right thing to do looking back, but it goes by so fast that, it's here and gone.
Here and gone. That. It's one day.
It's one day.
It's one day. You spend a lot of money.
That's another piece of advice. Don't spend so much money.
Anything you want to say about spending money? I've had a couple on, and they was like, you can. They said the groom, he said, what I thought it was completely different than what it was. He said you can easily be $60,000 like that.
Oh, that's especially when you got 3-4 dresses.
Yeah, the budget was out the window. Mm-hmm. It was not necessary.
Right.
That's definitely one thing I would change. Yeah. Even if you still want to have a big, nice wedding, you can have a big, nice wedding, but without all the extra fluff. Mm-hmm. Save yourself some money.
Okay.
I remember I think my parents offered us a check for our honeymoon or to start our life instead of the wedding.
Yeah.
That check would have been really nice the day after May 21st. We could have been going on like a month-long Europe trip.
After
something.
You threw this big party.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, I was like, no, it's okay. We'll have the big wedding and whatnot. But definitely don't waste all your money.
Yeah.
Don't do it. It's just, it's for what?
Yeah.
Social media.
Yeah.
For others.
Yeah.
Because in reality, looking back now, it's just him and I is what mattered most.
Yeah.
Not the big, gorgeous gown and the big, tall arrangements and all that. So.
Yeah. I had one of the wedding planners, we was talking about big centerpieces and, we talked about that. And she was like, well, some couples don't want that. And I was like, she's right. Mm-hmm. Some couples is real simplistic and they don't want that kind of stuff. They just want it to be nice and simple. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Not at all.
Because you can spend a lot of money. Like you said, a lot of it is for other people.
Yeah.
It's for social media and those things. Like I know some of the couples some of the weddings that we have done that the couples are not together anymore. And it's only been like a year. And they're not together.
So sad. That is so sad.
And you think of all the money you spend on a wedding and then you're not together 12 months, 15 months later, you're not together. So.
And that's because they were planning a wedding, not a marriage.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes, that is why.
I love it. I love it. Say that one more time.
And that is why they're not together. Maybe you should cut that out. But because they were planning a wedding and not a marriage.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Well, there you have it. That is the episode for today with Kara and Bremahr. We definitely appreciate them coming on. Yeah. Lots of insight. Lots of this is really, really good. Any wedding couple that's out there that's planning right now, I advise you to take their advice for what it is. It's real. They gave you everything. So appreciate you guys coming on.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
The bad weather.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Anything for you, Lee.
Yeah.
You're the best.
Appreciate
my guy.
It. Definitely appreciate it. So
we appreciate you having us.
Yeah.
Thank you so
thank
much
you.
for thinking of us.
Yep. And if you know anybody that just got married within the last, I would say no longer than 2 years ago, tell them to look us up.
Will do.
Because I would love to talk to them first, make sure they're a good fit for the podcast and bring them on. Because I think couples are going to be planning weddings all the time. So
it's not going anywhere.
This is not going anywhere. So yeah, definitely. But yeah, appreciate you guys coming on. All of the information, all of the places that we talked about will be in the show notes. So if you want any of that information, you can look in the show notes to find that. And maybe we'll post a blog post to their wedding and everything that they did. That way you guys can see all of the great stuff and fun that they had.
Yes.
So until then, we'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for tuning in. Peace out.